Hey builders, welcome to the definitive guide for building based mini apps. For years, the dream of mass on-chain adoption has been held back by friction. App stores are crowded, installation is a hassle, and building your own user base from scratch feels impossible. These are the silent killers of growth. Today, we are going to change that. Based mini apps are throwing us for bringing the next billion users on-chain. These are not just small websites. They are the new paradigm of on-chain social experiences. Lightweight, social native applications that launch instantly inside platforms like the base app. No installation required. We'll take you from concept to a fully functional viral on-chain application covering the entire MiniKit toolkit. We'll cover social first design and then we'll dive into a coding tutorial where we build a social trivia mini app from scratch, covering everything from dynamic embed to native UI controls. Let's get building. Before we write any code, it's essential to understand the fundamental shift mini apps represent. We are moving away from siloed applications to interactive experiences that exist directly inside the social feed. This transforms a static push into a functional app. This isn't just an incremental improvement, it's a complete reimagining of the application ecosystem. So here we have the table which exactly shows you what's the difference between normal applications and base mini apps. So in terms of distribution, traditional apps only have centralized app stores, whereas base mini apps are decentralized and organic like social feeds, DMs, etc. And in terms of installation, the traditional apps require downloads and this results to high user dropouts as well. Whereas base mini apps, it's instant launch and with zero friction. So any user can instantly test out the application and see if they like it or not. Next, we have discovery, where in traditional apps, it relies on expensive ads and ranking, whereas in base mini apps, it's viral and social native shared by friends itself directly inside the social feeds. When it comes to identity and social graphs, in traditional apps, it starts empty and it must be built from scratch where you enter your email IDs, your personal information, etc. Whereas in base mini apps, it inherits from a portable on-chain social graph, which is Farcaster or the base app, and it is instantly connected. Next comes platform, where the traditional apps require separate code bases like iOS code bases and Android code bases, but in base mini apps works with standard website. So website that you build for your normal browsers can work directly inside the base mini app as well. This paradigm shift powered by OnchainKit and a social first mindset is what makes next generation user experiences possible. Talk is cheap, let's build. We'll build a next gen application that covers all of the mini app fundamentals and features in detail. So we'll use the MiniKit template to build this application. So the command for it is npx create onchain mini. So just navigate to your terminal and to the directory that you like and hit the command npx create onchain dash dash mini. So here I'll enter this command and it will show you the MiniKit powered by OnchainKit GUI and here the project name. First, we'll enter the project name, which would be social trivia mini app. And next, we'll enter our Coinbase Java platform client API key. For this, you can get this client API key from portal.cdp.coinbase.com. So just navigate to portal.cdp.coinbase.com and here create a project. And inside the API key, you can find a client API key section where you can just copy the client API key and paste it over in your terminal. So I'll just enter and share anonymous CC data. This is totally up to you. This is your choice. I will keep it to yes, as is the tutorial. And yep, the MiniKit template has created a new MiniKit project in Social Trivia Mini app and all of with all of the integrations. Now we can just navigate to CD Social and here. Now we can open up this project in an IDE and see what are the different components of this template. Before that, let's install the dependencies that we would need. So I'll just npm install and after this we'll open up the project in the IDE. So it's showing some error. We just use npm install legacy weirdos. Now this should work. So the installation is done. We can just open the project. Once we open this project in ID, you can see all the different components like README, payment configuration, package configuration, etc. So one of the most important configuration when it comes to mini app development is the Farcaster configuration. So which you can find in app and in that there's a folder known as .well dash known. And here you can find the Farcaster.json configuration. And this is the main manifest configuration, which is very important when you are publishing a mini app. Now we'll come to this later when we are actually launching the mini app. So we'll set this up properly with proper versions, home URLs, etc. For now, we have the rest of the components like API, components, all of the other Next.js applications. So now that we have the project set up, let's build our project and our social mini app, and then we'll launch the mini app on the base app as well. So for this project, we'll first start with the components, and we'll first things the components like the mini app, previous components like leaderboards, questions, etc. for this application, and then we'll move to the main components like layout.psx, page.psx, or other, and providers.psx. So first, in the components, we have the demo components.psx, which is for the demo MiniKit template. So I'll just go and remove this to player.psx, our first official component for this app. So upload the psx, and here I'll just update the imports as well, and I'll just remove this code and add the app layer.tsx code. So mainly this app layer.tsx code uses a use MiniKit import from the OnchainKit MiniKit, which allows us to use context directly from the mini app or the Farcaster client like the base app. So here we have the import use MiniKit from Coinbase OnchainKit MiniKit and the React node import from React. And then we have the app layer component with the children props. And here we first use the use MiniKit hook, and we get the context from the use MiniKit hook, and then we set up the styles like the padding top, padding bottom, and various other parameters, and then we return the component. So by this, we have defined the app layout using the used MiniKit template itself. So this will, according to the mini app and according to the Farcaster client, get the context and set up the app layout. So we are done with the basic layout of this application. Now we can move on to the various different pages and the various different components. So now let's quickly cover the rest of the components and see how the various mini app and MiniKit features work together to provide a seamless social graph experience to the user. So first of all, we have the leaderboard.tsx component where we are using the useViewProfile feature from OnchainKit MiniKit. So this useViewProfile opens the profile of the passed-in FID to the component, and it calls back to the user's Farcaster account. So you can use this useViewProfile component to redirect to user's Farcaster account. If you want to store the user's profile or redirect to some other user's profile, you can directly use this useViewProfile component instead of creating your own logic. So we'll directly import this, and then we'll initialize this. So const viewProfile, use viewProfile. After that, we create a handle viewProfile function where we pass the FID as a parameter, and we can directly trigger this component of functionality by just passing the FID number to the useViewProfile component. So now let's see this in action. So I'm already running an ngrok tunnel as well. So the application is already running, and I've already opened up the application inside the testing environment of Farcaster. So here, this is the leaderboard component, and we have hardcoded the Farcaster ID to 1, 2, and 3. So this should go to the Farcaster ID 2. So as you can see, it went to Farcaster ID 2. And the third rank should go to Farcaster ID 3. So this went to the Farcaster ID 3. And if we click on first rank, so it would go again to Farcaster. So this provides a much better in-app embedded social graph experience to the user. No redirections, nothing. So next, we have the question screen.tsx component. So here we have the useOpenUrl functionality from OnchainKit MiniKit. So this opens a new URL, and if it's in the frame context, it will use the OpenUrl SDK action. Otherwise, it opens in a new tab. So this is perfect for handling URL redirection because it handles all of the edge cases as well as normal cases as well. So it will make sure that if the new URL is in your in-frame or in-app context, it will use the OpenUrl SDK action to give a much more embedded user experience. Whereas if it's not, then it will make sure that the transition is properly done and the tab or the URL is opened in the new tab. So you don't have to create your own logic. You can directly use OpenUrl function in the MiniKit. So once that is done, we initialize this using OpenUrl, use OpenUrl, and then we have a handle source click function where if we have a question.source parameter, which is a open URL or an open link, and if someone clicks on this question.source parameter, then it uses the open URL component of functionality to handle the source click. So here we have in the return function or in the return part, we have a special sourcing component of part where we are using the use open URL. So here we have a button which with the on click functionality handled by handle source click. So we can see this in action as well. So, but this is the testing format. So this might redirect to the new profile as well. So we can just start again. So we don't have source links over here. Let's just go to it. No, here as well. Okay, here there is a view source. So they should handle the URLs automatically. So as you can see, it would handle the URL automatically and it would create a new tab. So as we are currently testing on desktop, so this works differently on mobile and desktop. So that's another functionality of or another feature provided by mini app hooks. Next, we have the results pane.tsx. So here we are using another very cool feature provided by Farcaster and the base mini apps, which is the use compose first feature from OnchainKit MiniKit. So this use compose feature basically opens the cast composer with the suggested text and embed. So for example, if you want to create a feature where the user can directly create a cast, or in simple terms, it create a post directly from the mini app to Farcaster or the base app, you can use this use compose cast to handle all of the functionality from the SDK itself. You don't need to create any manual functions to handle this. Just provide the text and embeds and the URL to this use compose cast component, and it will automatically generate a cast for the user when the functionality is triggered. So here, next we have some leaderboard ABI components because we're handling an on-chain transaction as well here. So here in the we first initialize it. So const compose cost using compose cost, and then we have the handle share function. So this is the share function which would handle the compose basically cast generation. So we have the share URL. We construct the share URL properly first using next public URL and share scope, and then we use a component with the text and the embeds. So you don't need to do anything. You can just directly use this compose cast functionality and add the text and embeds to create a cast for the user when this functionality is triggered. So let's test this out as well. So here on Farcaster testing, I'll just skip this quickly. Let's just bring up these videos. So it's rotating and this. It should think now the quiz is finished. So now let's click on the share rhythm button and see how this functionality for mini app works. So as you can see, you didn't have to do any kind of manual functional component generation or function generation. Just directly use the use compose component and add the embeds and the text, and it automatically generates the compose or the cast for you. So here the user can cast and show that, okay, we have done this amazing thing on your mini application, challenge other users and involve more and more users to engage with your application, increasing your app's reach as well. So that's another cool feature provided by mini app. Next, we have the trivia game.tsx component where we use the other various functionality from OnchainKit MiniKit. So which is use MiniKit, use add frame, use close, use primary button. And then we initialize all of this in the components. So use close, use add frame, use MiniKit. We are using use MiniKit for context and use add frame for giving option to add a frame to the user, thus enabling notifications, and close string to close the frame as well. Once that is done, we have the functions that would handle this. So we have the handle frame function, which would handle the frame addition to the user's account, again, enabling notifications. And then we have the return component where based on the game state menus, we provide various options to the user like start new game, view leaderboard, handle add frame. So we are using handle add frame to add the app to your favorites as well. Also close frame usage as well. And that's it. Now, if you check the mini app preview, you can see the usage of use frame and other hooks that we use in the trivia game.tsx. So this add to favorite button would trigger the use frame hook, and this would add the application to the user's profile, enabling notifications. But this won't work in preview as it needs proper deployment and manifest generation, which we'll cover soon in the later part of this video. Next, we have the use of use primary button as well. This button is actually provided by the use primary button hook, and it's not manually generated in the application. So this, as you can see, this closely resembles the UI of Farcaster as well. So the user can directly use this use primary button to enable various functionalities of the game, providing again a much better user experience. And this is how you can use the various mini app features together to make sure your mini application blends properly with the social experience of Farcaster clients like the base app and the Farcaster, providing the best seamless social embedded user experience. Next, we'll move to the final parts of this project, which would be layout.tsx, page.tsx, and providers.tsx. So layout.tsx, we are going to keep the same because this basically handles material generation part. And we don't need to do any changes from this because all of this directly acquired from the env variables like OnchainKit project name, public app hero, image, etc., and other various environment variables. And the viewport is already properly set up, and the root layout also looks good. So we won't be doing any changes to layout.tsx. Next, we'll be doing some changes to page.tsx according to our application. So here on this page.tsx, we will currently replace this primitive template code which has been provided by page.tsx. So I'll just remove this, and here we'll have the social trivia mini app page.26 code. So I already have it over here. So this is going to be pretty short code because we have already set up everything and the main components in our trivia game.psx. So here in page.psx, first of all, a critical security warning: the context object is only for display and personalization. So here we are using the context object only for showing the various data on UI. It is unverified and must not be used to authorize actions on your backend. So never use this direct context object to authorize actions on your backend. For secure actions, you must always use the use authenticate hook. So make sure that you are using this properly, the use sign up properly. So once it is done, we have the imports like use effect import, use MiniKit import, app layout, and trivia game import. Next, we have the app component where we first use MiniKit hook to set up the context and the set frame ready user variables. Once it is in, we'll get all of the data that we need from the context like user FID, username, PFP, URL, and display name. After that, we have use effect to make sure that set frame ready is called properly whenever the page is rendered. After that, we have the return component where we set up the header along with the user FID, PFP, URL, etc. and the social trivia mini app name. After that, we have the main game where we directly use the trivia game.tsx component, and that's it. We are done with the page.tsx where we have the main header and the trivia game component showing up. So now that we are done with the main project code, we can move to the next part, which is a very important part for mini applications, which is publishing, deploying, and verifying your mini app on the Farcaster plans like the base app and on Farcaster. Before we move to the publishing part of the tutorial, let's just discuss providers of PSX and the only change that we would need from the MiniKit template. So the providers of PSX would look exactly like how the it looked in the MiniKit template as well. The only thing that we would be needing is the Paymaster config with the OnchainKit provider. So in this OnchainKit provider, you just need to add the Paymaster config. So now that we are done with this, let's just quickly test out the application on browser before we deploy this. So I'll just run on PM Build. And let's open this application on C browser. So it might take some time to load. We will just wait. So the initial render of the application looks all good. It's set up properly with connect wallet, start game, leaderboard, and add to favorite buttons as well. Now let's deploy this application on a live URL, because any kind of mini app testing or mini app publication, you would need the live production URL or the live version URL. You can't test the mini application on a local push URL because mini applications publish globally, and that's why you need a permanent URL, a permanent push URL. So you can just navigate to the deploy documentation in docs.base.doc for mini applications. So here there are two ways that you can actually deploy your application. One is dictator version, which is the recommended one for the base docs. So you can just use version to deploy your application. That is an embedded application that we created, or else there's an alternative as well, which is using ngrok for pushing. But we won't be using this method as we want a live version URL so that we can publish our application as well. But you can use this if you want to test out the application on mini-apps. So I'll just quickly deploy the application on Vercel and be back. I'm successfully able to deploy the application using Vercel. I have a link as well over here. So there's a social trivia mini-app.vercel.app. So we have successfully deployed the application using Vercel, and we have got a permanent link as well. Now, here, as the doc says, once we verify the URL works in a browser, we can proceed to manifest creation, which is the create manifest section in docs.base.doc miniature documentation. So once we have a stable URL, we will generate the Farcaster account association and expose the Farcaster.json endpoint. So we can generate account association through CLI itself, so which is npx create onchain manifest command. So I'll just copy this command, and we can just use this in our Next.js minikit template. So I'll just hit enter. So this is asking for my wallet connection over here. I'll just accept the wallet connection. Let me just quickly set up the wallet connection as well. So once you hit the command, it will show you a UI like this, where you first need to connect your wallet. So set up your wallet using the cache recovery key, then enter the domain of your application. So this will be used to generate your mini app manifest, and then sign to generate and save your mini app manifest. So I'll quickly set all of this up, and then we can get back to manifest generation. So once you connect your wallet and enter the domain of application, it will show you a Farcaster ID, and then we can just click on the sign button and move ahead on the process. So I'll just click on sign button. I'll just sound this message. All this now. cloud keys, and that's it. We were able to generate the mini app manifest as well. So we can close this window and return to CLI. So as you can see, a single command has generated our manifest. So the account authorization was generated successfully and it's added to our EMG file as well. So we were successfully able to generate the manifest using command npx create onchain manifest. And as you can see, it's a very simple process. The MiniKit Pro directly provides you a GUI where you can connect your Farcaster related wallet and set up your URLs and directly set up your manifest as well. So now if we check the docs.biz.org and the mini documentation, we were successfully able to generate the account association through CLI. So we use this npx create onchain manifest command. So again, of warning, make sure to review the full manifest guide and update all the fields. Be sure to update the deployment environments with these values. So we have done this as well. And also while testing, make sure that no index is true in your manifest or while indexing. This is only while testing. So make sure that only while testing you set this up. After that, once you're done with these steps, make sure that the verification of account association is done. So you can do this in the preview tool itself. So we'll come back to this later. So after that, make sure that the manifest exists in our Farcaster.json. So we have already reviewed this. So if we check, we already have the Farcaster.json setup with all of the Farcaster header, payload, signature, and the various other frame details as well. So we have successfully set this up as well. And you can open your Farcaster.json in browser to verify the JSON output. Once that is done, make sure to add the frame data for embeds as well. So define FC frame metadata. So your app renders a rich embed with a launch button while shared. So we have already set up this as well. So in layer.tsx, we have set up FC frame as well. So frame metadata for embeds is also set up. Now we can go to the launch checklist and see how the high level checklist looks and what should we implement next. So here, make sure that you register for base build. So you can just register for base build at base up there. So here in apps, you can import your mini apps and register for base up there. So here, if we click on this import button, you can see that we first need to add a base account address to Farcaster.json. So here in the Farcaster.json, just after the account association and frame, you can add this builder address. So I'll just go ahead and add this base builder address of here. So here is my Farcaster.json. So here after this, I'll add base builder address as well. Let me just copy this properly again. Let me just copy this and add this as well. So we have added the base builder address. So once you have added the base builder address, we need to redeploy this application so that the changes come to effect. And once you have redeployed the application, you can move back to base.dev, add your app URL and import your application. Once we have set up the base builder addresses and imported the apps to your base.dev account, you can see it will show your mini analytics. So it will show you the for visit of the base application, active and new users, total session time, and etc. etc. So you can just view all of these analytics at dashboard by directly importing your Farcaster configurations. So here I just importing the social media mini app configurations. Now you can go to the preview tool as well and check it out. So here in the preview tool, I can just use this tool to preview my application and debug mini app. So here we'll just submit this and see if it works or not. So let's launch a social media mini app. So here, as you can see, it's successfully loading the mini application. So here it's showing my Farcaster ID details like the profile image and the name. So I'll just connect my wallet as well. So it will just navigate to the mini app. So here, Pranav interface it, based on it, everything looks good. I'll just connect the wallet. So it might take some time to load the status as it's in preview. So once it is done, the connected one with the looks good. I will start again. NFT is non-fungible and system for state. I'll just quickly do all of those. Proceed. And this is Ethereum. This is decentralized autonomous organization. And there you have it. We have built a social native mini app covering the entire MiniKit toolkit, a contextual UI with OnchainKit, powerful viral loop, seamless navigation, native UI controls, and a seamless gasless on-chain integration. For your launch, make sure that you follow this pre-launch checklist. Manifest is valid and no index is false. Authentication is non-blocking, share previews are dynamic and compelling, and the final checklist, which would be making sure that all external links use OpenURL. From here, look forward to upcoming retention features like use ad frame to let users save the application and use notifications for re-engagement. You now have the complete toolkit to build the next wave of on-chain social experiences. To continue your journey, make sure to follow these essential resources. Check out docs.base.org for official documentation on the base mini apps and OnchainKit. Also, make sure to check out docs.farcaster.xyz to understand Farcaster, the protocol powering these social graphs. Also, for community help and help from the official team, you can check out Coinbase Job platform Discord and Base Desktop. Also, check out Hindlabs.com for more such advanced tutorials and guides on on-chain development. If you like this guide from Hindlabs, please hit the like button, follow for more such guides, and share it with other builders. And let us know what you will build with Miniats in the comments below. Thanks for building with me today. See you in the next one.